Hey guys, so I hope you're all doing well. Today I have a different setup as you can see in my background, and I'm still trying to work out the kinks. I'm trying to figure out if this lighting is good enough. The other day I filmed a video. I actually filmed a makeup tutorial for the longest time in forever, and I couldn't upload it because the beginning of it was super bright and on point, and then all of a sudden the quality just got darker and darker as the day went on, so that video I can't upload. But I've been trying to find the right lighting. I do want to thank my husband so much for setting everything up, because he did set it up super cute. It's in our room now. It used to be in my beauty room, but I'm going to be making my beauty room into a nursery room for my daughter. And since I wanted her to have her own room, I can only film in my room now. That's the only space that I have, and it does look super cute in my actual room how my husband set it up, but you can't really see it in the background. Obviously all you can see is my big old bed, and you can't see how cute it looks. So maybe I'll do a tour so you can see how it actually looks, and maybe I'll just film, and maybe I'll just figure out how to film and move everything around so that it looks a little bit cuter in the background. But for now I'm working with what I got. But today I just wanted to film a video about what's been going on, a little bit of questions that I've been getting, and a few other bits and bobs such as that. And I wanted to tell you my daughter's name because I actually did announce it on Facebook, and if you follow me on Instagram you have probably seen what my daughter's name actually is, but I wanted to come here and just announce it on YouTube because I feel that not everyone follows me on those other social media platforms. If you aren't, please feel free to follow me on Instagram and places like that, Twitter, etc. I'm not very active on Twitter, but I should be. Hopefully I will start to get a little bit more active. But I wanted to come on here and just address a few things that have been going on. So anyway, without further ado, my daughter's name is going to be Kiera Renee Maxwell. And the reason we chose Kiera for her name is because for the longest time my husband and I were struggling with names that we wanted. I tend to go for more longer, elegant names that he said were too long, and he just didn't like the sound of it. And then we did go quite a few times with a unisex name. Just some names that we went through. Originally we were going to name our daughter Astrid, which I do really like. I actually did get the name from White Oleander, that book, which was made into a movie, I think in the early 2000 era. And I really loved that name growing up, but my husband's mother did not like that name at all, and it kind of ended up being ruined for us, so we ended up not using the name Astrid, obviously. And then we wanted more of a unisex name. That was what we leaned towards next, because we were thinking about the boy name that we liked, and we were thinking about naming, if we had a son, Aiden. And so we were like, what about Caden? Even though it's, slightly more of a boy name, what about Caden instead of, Cadence or anything like that, which is a lot more common, because we were looking for something more unique that not everyone is going to name their child. And we were going to name her Caden Elizabeth. But when it actually came time that we found out we were having a daughter, we just were stumped. We just didn't feel like any name that we had thought about was the right name. So I kept on, just bouncing off all these names off of my husband, and kept on bugging him a little bit, like, we need to figure out a name. I don't want her to come into this world and not have a name. And then 10 years down the line, I was being a little over dramatic, but I was like, I don't want her to not have a name. And then we just never have a name for her. And I was like, I kept on calling her baby Nameless, which I was like, we need to name her something. I want to be able to call her something. Yes, I am a little bit over dramatic, but so one day I wrote down a list of names of what I really liked. I liked names such as Hazel and, you know, just a lot of really cute names that I was like, my husband's probably not gonna like it. But one name on there was Kira, which is a name that I've always really loved, even though it's a little bit more on the common side. It's not too horribly common. Like I said, we didn't want anything too common, something that's everyone's gonna name their child. And I wrote down Kira, and when Cameron saw it, my husband, Cameron, when he saw it, he said, oh, I like this name, Kiera. And I said, well, actually, that's not Kiera, that's Kira. And I said, but Kiera sounds really cute. Let me look it up on how to spell it. So, sorry, this is the longest story ever, but I ended up looking it up on how to spell Kiera, and when I saw it, it did look more like Kiara to me, especially because I say tiara instead of tiara, which is, you know, Americans say tiara, and I tend to say tiara like the British, just because of my mom. You know, if you've watched my videos, you probably have noticed that I say mascara instead of mascara, just because it takes me a second longer to think mascara instead of mascara. Like, it's something, especially in the past, that I had to like think about. And so I just decided, hey, I grew up hearing the word mascara. It's easier for me to think about. I'm gonna say it even though I'm not British. I did grow up with an English mom and a Scottish dad, so it's easier for me to say certain words a certain way. But anyway, so the spelling that we saw, it did look more like Kiara to me, but we decided, even though, you know, there are two ways of pronouncing this name, that we really wanted to name her Kiera, which was what my husband had said. So we went ahead and we were still thinking about the middle name for a while, and eventually we did come up with the middle name, which I'll talk about also in a second. But I first announced her name spelled like, you know, this way. And I asked a few people, and then a few people would ask me, oh, how do you pronounce that? And I'd be like, oh, well, how do you think it's pronounced? And I was kind of surprised, thinking, you know, more Americans would pronounce it Kiera, because they do say tiara. Not that I'm saying I'm not American, but you know what I mean. And I was really surprised that most people ended up saying Kiara. So I thought that was kind of a little bit funny, and I didn't want her to grow up having so many people confuse her name and her being called two different pronunciations. So I decided to go back and I decided to add it with the word air in it, just so I think it's a little bit more easy to pronounce the way that we want it pronounced. So now it's spelled Kiera, which I really love also because, again, it's more unique. It's more of a unique spelling. It might be, and might not exactly be the proper way of spelling it, but all in all, I think it will end up being a lot easier for people to pronounce it the right way. And I just think it's a super beautiful name. We wanted something very poetic, actually. Both my husband and I wanted something poetic. And I am just so glad and happy that he kind of came up with the name in a way. I think that is super sweet, and he can tell her that story. And, you know, even though I was the one who was trying for so long to figure out her name, he just came up with the most perfect names. It's kind of funny because Kiera, if it's pronounced Chiara is the Italian pronunciation, and then if it's Chiara, it's more of the Celtic, which we are both more Celtic, especially me. I have mainly Scottish in my family, but I just love the Italian pronunciation, and I'm so glad that my husband came up with it, and it's very elegant sounding. And it's kind of funny because it also has two meanings. If it's the Italian, it means light, and if it's the Celtic, it means dark. And my dad, he made a joke that, hey, you never know what kind of kid you're going to end up with. So that is the long story behind Chiara's name. And then for her middle name, it's actually a little bit more simple, but I really wanted to have a way to honor Cameron's mom and my mom, and I was trying to find a way to meld the names together. My mom's name was Amanda, and Cameron's mom is named Tina. But that didn't go together at all well. So I focused a little bit more on the middle names. My mom's middle name was Jane, and Cameron's mom's name is Ray. So I was like looking up how you could meld it together, and something like Renee, or it was Renee or something like that. Renee. And I was like, Renee, that doesn't sound right. Like Chiara Renee. No, it doesn't sound right. So I was like, I wonder about Renee. And then I brought it up to my husband, and he was like, eh. And then it was so funny because we did the Timon and Pumbaa thing, where a couple days later he was like, oh, what about the name Renee? And I was like, I mentioned that the other day. And he's like, no, you mentioned the name Renee. And I was like, yes, okay. But I said, yeah, let's look up Renee. It sounds pretty. And as soon as I saw the meaning behind it, it just made me want the name even more, because Renee means rebirth. So I thought that was really nice to honor my mom, because my mom passed away in 2009. My voice is getting kind of shaky. But anyway, I just thought it was a nice way of honoring her, the rebirth of my mother in a way. And yeah, so that is her name. That is the long story behind her name, and I am so excited to have Chiara Renee coming into the world very, very soon. 3 months now, I think, and December 26th, if you're new to my channel, is her due date. So I am just super duper excited and can't wait to meet my daughter. And I know it's going to be stressful, and I know it's going to be hard. It's already been stressful and hard, but I'm just very, very excited, and I can't wait for our little blessing to come. So the other question that I got asked recently is, because I was talking about my job and maternity leave and how I won't be getting maternity leave. So some people were asking, oh, what do you do for a living? So what I am is the department lead of shoes at Kohl's. My technical term is a merchant, so I am the one who deals with freight and deals with backstocking and deals with all kinds of stuff like that. So I'll get the freight, you know, all the shoe freight in, and I'll be the one to unload all of the shoes and put them out. And I have to do these things called ESLs, which is basically where I have to link up, you know, the signs that you see on a shoe, and I'll link it up to the shoe just to make sure that, you know, everyone can see the prices and whatnot. And I'll be the one to organize all of the shoes and put them out how they are supposed to be lined up. I'm also the one who deals with like the setup of things. So I will, there's my mailman outside of my window. Hopefully you can't see what I'm doing, but I think you can. But anyway, I'm the one who deals with like the setup also, if I need to change the shoe setup for a season. So I am the one who will like completely rearrange all of the shoes if they need to be changed for the season. So I will, you know, do certain moves, which are called sets, and I will move around shoes to the right area, which, you know, some people might not think it's a super hard job, and it's not a super hard job, but I am constantly always on my feet. Like, I do not sit down unless I'm on a break during work, but I am constantly moving around. And I'm also doing stuff such as backstocking, so I backstock the shoes if we have any extra. I'm the one who gets them out of backstock if we need to get them for a customer, and also I'm the one who deals with stuff like purges, which is where if we have a big event for the season, I will bring out immense amount of shoes, like all of the shoes that I can from the back stock, so that we will have enough for the event, such as tax-free weekend and Christmas and stuff like that. And what else do? I deal with the queue, which is again where I take shoes out, shoes that need to go out onto the floor, and I will pull the queue and just make sure that all the shoes are represented out there. So I wouldn't say my job is very hard, but there is a lot to it. But once you've got it down, it is very repetitious, and I do basically the same thing like on a daily basis. Like, there are many steps to what I do, but I do a lot of like repetitious steps. If there's any mismates for shoes, I'll have to look for them, and then I'll have to tag them if I can't find them, and I will have to look for the mismate for about 5 weeks. So anytime that a customer comes in and there's a shoe mismate, I will have to look for that mismate. So what else do I do? I feel like there's so much that I do, but I can't think of everything right now. I have to make boxes for shoes because some people will take the box and then they'll leave the shoes, and then so I have to make new shoe boxes, and then sometimes, I don't know, it's just a lot of like cleaning up and organizing. And if you love organizing, then you would probably love my job, because it is a lot of organizing. And it's so funny because I am personally not a very organized person, but I think being in shoes has made me more of an organized person. Like, sometimes I can't look at shoes, like even in my own house, because I'm like, they're all over the place, and I have to organize them. And I do feel like it's made me more of a clean person. But yes, so again, that was a long-winded story about what I am, but basically, like I said, I am the department lead of shoes at Kohl's, so I am a shoe merchant. And then I have all of my people underneath me that I have to also manage and make sure that they're doing it all right. And then obviously I have to report back to my manager, and my manager will make sure that I'm doing this, that, and the other, making sure that I have all of the ESLs tagged, because people will take ESLs off and ESLs will fall apart, and I have to deal with that also. I get an ESL list, which is those little tags that I was talking about that you link to shoes, and I have to do those once a week just to make sure that all of the ESLs are linked, and I have to make sure that it's underneath 35, I think. Make sure that, you know, most of the shoes are tagged. And if they're not linked, then I have to go ahead and go through that list once a week and make sure that I go ahead and link those back up. And And then again, with the Mistmates, I have to make sure that it's underneath 23, which, you know, sounds like a lot of Mistmates, but I've been pretty happy with my team lately. We've been underneath, I think, like 10 Mistmates for a couple of weeks now, so that is super awesome. And yeah, like I said, I just have to be kind of encouraging, and I have to be the lead of my shoe department. So that's basically my job. Yes, it might not be the most amazing job in the world, but I like it, and I'm proud that I am lead of something, just because it's nice to have some sense of responsibility, if that makes sense. And yeah, I'm quite proud of it, and I just hope to keep on rising in the department. But we'll see what happens once my daughter comes into the world. I know it's going to be a lot harder, and I know I'm not going to be able to afford daycare, but my husband now works nights, so what we're hoping to do is I'll work during the day, and he'll work during the night, and then when I'm gone at work, he'll take care of her, and when, you know, when I'm gone, he'll take care of her. And then, did I just say that again? And then when he's gone, I'll take care of her. But I just know that that's probably going to get stressful and tiring. But hopefully we'll figure it all out, because there is no way that I can afford daycare, because it's just unrealistic, especially because I am still making payments on my house and on my car. You know, I have the majority of my house paid off, but I am still making payments, so it's pay to own, or whatever you want to say. But I do have those responsibilities in my life, and I can't be just giving money to daycare. But that is also leading into another thing that I wanted to talk about, which is breastfeeding. And for me, I really want to do breastfeeding, and it's something that I have wanted to always at least try when I have a kid. Not that I think breastfeeding is better or worse than formula. I think as long as you're feeding your kid, that is what's most important. But I do have reasons for wanting to breastfeed. Number one is always just because I've always wanted to try it, at least to try it. I want to see if I like it, if I can do it, because I know not everyone can do it, not everyone can produce milk, and I just always thought it would be a nice experience to share with my kids. Now, the second reason is for money reasons, and you know, it's more of a sensible reason, because I know that formula is super duper expensive and that you go through it super duper quickly, and I just cannot imagine what it's going to be like if we have to buy formula when we have all of these other responsibilities. I have my car payment, my husband has his own car payment, we have our house payment together, and now we have, you know, our hospital bills, because we do have health insurance. I have health insurance, but it's not like super good health insurance, so we're still getting bills on top of, you know, so we're actually getting bills from the hospital as well. So we have all of these worries, and I just cannot see how, like, getting formula. But I know if it came down to it, if it came down to I couldn't breastfeed and she needed formula, and we would make it work. Like, I know everyone has I feel like, why am I so emotional? I feel like we would make it work. Like, if we needed to. I can't talk to you guys right now. Like, if it came down to it, we would make it work. I mean, obviously, you have to make it work. Like, we would have to figure out a solution if we needed to get formula, or if some other thing happened, if our daughter got sick. We would make it work. I'm just stressed. But it's good to be thinking about this stuff now. And I know people probably would say that, well, if you had a better paying job, then you wouldn't have to worry so much about this kind of stuff, that you kind of put yourself, like I put myself in this position because I don't have, like, my job. I don't want to tell you how much I earn, but like, because you earn this, then obviously you're gonna struggle, and hey, you should have stuck college out, which, yeah, I kind of see people's viewpoint. If I did have a better paying job, it probably would be easier, but I do think I'm very hardworking for what I do. Even though I can see that our lives would be easier if we had, you know, stuck it out and gone to college, which, kids, if you're watching this, maybe go to college, get a good paying job. But I just, I do think I'm very hardworking still, and I'm just trying to figure it all out, and I know it will eventually work. I'm just trying to figure it all out, and don't get me wrong, I am super excited for my daughter, and she's like a blessing. I just want the best life for her. So I hope we can have her, you know, have the best life that she can. And even if we can't buy her a lot of super expensive stuff, I hope she'll be happy. And I think that's the most important part, because my husband and I, we do love each other. So at least she'll always know that. So at least she'll grow up with loving parents, and yeah. Anyway, I think that's all I want to address for now, because this video has been super long. I feel like I've been sitting here for at least 30 minutes. So hopefully the editing I can cut down a little bit. And I'm sorry for being way too emotional at the end of this video. It's not... I'm glad I can talk to you guys, even though I don't know you guys in real life. I do know a lot of you guys through Facebook or Instagram or through YouTube, and I feel like I have gotten to know a lot of you, and I feel like a lot of you have gotten to know me, and I'm trying to open up more and address, you know, my personality more, because I feel like I'm always a very reserved person. Like, I don't open it up a lot, but I'm trying to do it more, and I hope you guys appreciate that. And even though it's kind of scary telling you guys more about myself, because I am always worried about being judged. Like, that's something that I've always just grown up with, is the worry of being judged, and it has to do with stuff from my past. But I've just always been worried about telling you too much, that you guys might think I'm a loser. Which I'm not trying to put myself down or anything. I just know that some people are very judgmental in this world. And yeah. But I do want to talk about more stuff with you guys, and I do want to talk about the fact that it was kind of hard for me to get pregnant. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little chit chat, and like I said, hopefully the quality and lighting of this video will be decent enough. I'll probably upload it anyway, even if it's not the best lighting, because I've been sitting here blabbing my mouth up. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys enjoyed getting to know me more. Leave me a comment down below. Please try and be kind. Try, if it's possible. And I love you all, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Feel free to share this video on any social media platform to help me get my videos out there, because I would love that. And I love you all so much. Bye!